the Foreign Affairs Minister of Myanmar, His Excellency Mr. Nhan Win. Mr. Win, the floor is yours, sir.
Mr. President, Excellencies, distinguished delegate, on behalf of the Myanmar government, at the outset, I would like to express our deep gratitude to the Danish government and its people for its generous hospitality extended to us. It is indeed a privilege and an honor for me to address the climate change conference in Copenhagen. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, we live in a world of change and transformation. The ascendancy of science and technology, particularly with regard to the information and communication sector, present us with opportunities. At the same time, we face daunting challenges from climate change to food security. Climate change is without doubt one of the defining challenges of our time. The rapid pace and scale of climate change requires an effective global response. The UN Summit on Climate Change held in New York last September highlights the need to act urgently. It is incumbent for us here in Copenhagen to ensure that our deliberations are fruitful and that we meet the expectation of our peoples. We come to Copenhagen with great expectation. This is the first global gathering to take stock of the situation and review developments since the 1992 UN Framework Convention on Climate Change and the 1997 Kyoto Protocol. Myanmar is a low-carbon emission country. Due to the painful experience of Cyclone Nargis in May 2008, the Myanmar government is fully aware of the need to act decisively. We are implementing the national adaptation programs of action to reduce environmental risk associated with climate change. Mr. President, Excellency, distinguished delegates, developing countries which contribute less than 2% of greenhouse gas are the most vulnerable and are the least protected in the face of climate change. Unless timely action is taken to rectify the situation, the developing countries risk jeopardizing years of hard work they have devoted to meeting their Millennium Development Goals, particularly with regard to eradication of poverty and promotion of better health and living conditions for present and future generations. Since we share one small planet, failure for developing countries will also spell doom for the rest of the world. Developing countries which produce much lower emissions than the developed countries deserve to be treated with fairness. The Bali Action Plan adopted by the ASEAN countries in 2007 is an exemplary way to ensure fairness and accountability. In line with the Action Plan, the commitment of the developing countries to the targeted 2 degrees Celsius / 450 parts per million limit should not be overly ambitious. We would prefer that this process adopts nationally appropriate mitigation action, which are voluntary in nature. The endeavor of developing countries in pursuit of sustainable development should be supported by developed countries through financing, technology transfer, capacity building, and irrevocable commitment. Mr. President, it is our hope that the deliberation here in COP15 will be held in good faith and that the process will advance in an open, transparent, and inclusive manner. UNFCCC and the Kyoto Protocol represent the current legal framework for addressing global warming. These instruments should be maintained and should not be diluted. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, to conclude, I would like to underscore the need to achieving a just, equitable, and binding agreement to ensure the rise in temperature to below 2 degrees Celsius after 2012. I am confident that we can muster the will to ensure a better environment for our generation and generation to come. And thank you all.